Come in, Carly. Come on. Come on, baby.
Good evening and welcome to this week's Black Mental Health is Black Health. I'm your host, Bronwyn Lucas, and I've got these exciting guests that you're going to find out about shortly. But if you've been here before, you know what we do. We start off with some deep breathing because you might need that woosah. Don't tell them what kind of day you've had. Nikki told me a little about hers. I'm sure she can use a little woosah right now. So let's get started. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. One more, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. Were you able to get a few deep breaths in?
A few.
And you know that deep breathing is so important. It allows us to just kind of get some more oxygen flowing in our brain and throughout our body, and we can have that woosah moment. So we have a special guest here, Miss Carly. So I will start with Nikki because I met her at a workshop, symposium, some activity last Saturday. It was a really good activity.
Yes.
And she was so cool that I wanted her to come on and talk about autism because it is Autism Awareness Month. So, starting off, everybody gets to tell me who you are and tell us something cool about yourself. So, we'll let you go first, Nikki, because you're who I met.
Okay. My name. Good afternoon. My name is Nikki Ellis. Something cool about me is I have 2 children. I think that's cool.
It is cool. And I know they keep you busy.
Busy is an understatement.
All right. Who else is in this screen with us?
How y'all doing? I'm the Trai in Washington. I'm Carly's father. Something cool about me, I coach youth football.
Oh, that is cool.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
And who is that beauty on your lap?
And what's your name?
Carly Washington.
Hello, Carly. Awesome. Well, tonight we're here to talk about autism. It is Autism Awareness Month, and um, these two parents have an interesting reason to be here tonight. So, tell us Nikki, how'd you get involved? You and Trai with autism awareness.
We got involved because back in 2021, our daughter Carly Washington, at the age of 3, she was officially diagnosed with autism. She's on the spectrum level 1. So we didn't have a lot of knowledge about autism, so we slowly learned more and more through family or online. So I just wanted to start an organization to help young parents or parents who's finding out late about autism.
Mm. And we're going to talk about that autism, that organization. But let me ask you this: is it Trai? Am I saying it right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What was it like for you when you found out your child was autistic? How did you find it easy to accept, or was it no, not my child?
Yeah, I was. I hit a stage of denial for sure because it's hard to. It's really hard to. I didn't realize how hard it was to even notice the difference between
Mm.
your kid and a normal kid. Like you don't really even notice the things. Like people used to tell
Mm-hmm.
us, like she should be doing this by now, and I'm like, no, she shouldn't. Kids don't do that at that age. And we actually had an app at one point that would tell us what stages or what development she would have that day.
Right.
It started to go off a little bit, but I still was like, no, this app must be it must be
The
wrong.
app is wrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was a little
Wow.
combative. I was a little combative at first. I definitely was.
Because it's hard to accept. Everybody wants a normal child.
Right.
And when your child doesn't fit in that realm, it's like, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a hard one. It is. What about you, Nikki? How was it for you?
Um, I was devastated because the first thing I thought is I don't want anybody being mean to my kid. That was the first
Mm,
thing I thought
mm-hmm.
about. I wasn't really in denial about her having autism. I was just afraid of how society would treat her.
And that's a real fear. I can see that. That is a real fear. Um, How has society, how have you found that to be?
The truth,
The
Carly is
truth.
extremely lovable. Everybody loves Carly, so that makes me feel good. And Carly loves school, so that makes me feel like she's getting treated good at school.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay. I'm okay now.
That's good because it's hard. You mentioned something about levels of autism. Can you guys tell us a little about that?
Truthfully, honestly, I don't know a whole lot about the different levels. I just
Mhm.
know it's considered 4 levels: level 1, 2, 3, and 4.
And Carly's level 1, what does that mean?
That means she has functional autism, where she could
Mhm.
still do a lot of the things that children her age can do. That's not on the spectrum.
Mhm.
Basically, speech delay, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, basically speech delay.
Mhm.
So she's speech delayed.
And some of the other levels I'll tell about. Their level 2 is requires a lot more support. So level 1 requires support, but like you say, she's speech delayed, but a lovable child. Even just when I met her on camera, she's got glowing with personality. She really is, and which is a benefit. Um, so I guess you guys have to be verbal for her. Um, do they feel like she will become more verbal?
So Carly, um, I feel like we used to have to be verbal for her.
Hmm.
Carly, the strides, Junior, us actually having Junior since in these last 2 years, it's a whole. Her progress in the last 2 years probably been the most in her lifetime. The last, and it just really come from telling Junior what to do, to be honest. But
Hmm.
he developed words because Junior can talk, and he talk a lot. So the progress is crazy. Just her really being social, and I
Hmm.
think with level 1, with her in particular, the more she's like in a social environment with other kids, she pick up a lot.
Hmm.
She pick up a whole lot. I don't know what the rest. Go ahead. I don't want to get too far. I don't
No,
want to
no,
answer.
you're good. That is
Look, I don't
good.
want to accidentally answer something that's later. That's later
No, you're
on.
good. You're good. If you answer that, it's good.
We're just
But
talking
then, and
about
I will say, it goes all the way to higher level where children are not verbal. They're not functional. They just, oh my, much more difficult. So, autism, for those who don't know, is considered a spectrum disorder, meaning it goes from low to high in terms of how you function. And within that spectrum, it can go from level 1, 2, 3, and 4. And even within that, um, we can tell you what a level 1 two looks like, or 2. Like 2 requires support, substantial support. They have limited verbal skills. This would be the level of 2, whereas the level 3 is nonverbal. So it can go from some verbal skills to nonverbal and still be within autistic spectrum. Some of you may have heard the term Asperger's. Those are the kids that are people that are real high functioning yet autistic, have no social skills, may be very smart intellectually, but don't have social skills,
yeah.
and or read social cues, which is a common thing with kids with autism. They don't read social cues. Those don't exist for them. Um, when you think about it, just tell us some of your. We're going to go to your organization next, but first tell me, let's go there. What is As I Am? You said you started this organization. What is it? Tell us more.
As I am, it is a nonprofit that I just started actually in January.
Oh, wow.
It's been on my brain for 3 years, but I officially just jumped out there in January. It's called As I Am. We're wearing the shirts. It is a nonprofit for to help families who have children or family members on the spectrum and they need more resources or they just need help in general or someone who understands them. So I'm trying to um, start a nonprofit for them so they can feel like they have a home and that someone can relate to them.
What was you guys' and I'll start with Trai on this one. What was the most difficult things you had to deal with? Like you say, oh no, your camera went out. Hopefully you'll be back. They were having technical difficulties before the show. Let's hope it pops back on. If you can hear me, we can't see or hear you. There you are. You're back. Um, so my question to you is, what are some of the challenges you initially faced? It's like, okay, now I know you said at first it was difficult to even accept, Trai, and then when okay, I'm accepting it. This is real. I'm good. What were some of the challenges you had in managing that and trying to figure out what it meant even?
Some of the challenges were just like seeing her like around other kids her age and like actually getting to see it. Like once I accepted it anyway, because like I said, I would see her around kids all the time, and I just be like, well, that kid, they're just athletic, or they just, maybe he's just smarter, or whatever. I put in my head to make it feel better for me. Seeing it in real time, like her actually around other kids her age, with the knowledge, like actually knowing now, it was a little challenging because it's like I would try to I felt myself like dumbing down or trying to dumb it down for her and not really realizing I didn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
So you just kind of overprotective at first. Like you don't even want to just. She want to go play and stuff, but it's kind of like I was putting it on her as a disability. That was the overcoming that part. I realized like it ain't a disability, you know.
Different ability.
Yeah, and then once she started going to school, that's what really like eased a lot of it for us though.
How did it make it better once she went to school?
Because she would come home, like her progress started actually kicking up. Her school district is the programs that they give us and the resources they give us. It helped a lot because she got in school at 3 and started, just building that social environment to where now she know her classmates' names, she know past classmates and teachers. She real good with names. And then every class that she's been in, she makes some of the highest. Like even now, she's in basically normal, just regular classes, and still it's like amongst the highest grades in the class. She's still winning awards and everything. So it make you realize, like, okay, she's just not social. It ain't about that. It ain't a learning disability like that.
Mm-hmm.
Really, her older cousin. So they play Roblox. I'm sorry. Her older cousin play Roblox, and she's what 12, 13, and she was like she beating the stages that we can't even beat.
Oh
like,
wow!
You know how to do this and this and this, and then that opened my eyes even more. Like they are autistic. I mean, they don't mean they smarter. They just can't communicate it. But I think to me now, learning what I know now, I think like Albert Einstein was autistic. Like once I found that out and stuff, and I'm just looking up people that's autistic that were diagnosed with autism. I'm like, okay, I think I get it. Like they really like geniuses, but they just can't. It's a communication barrier. It's like they don't know how to express it to you. They know, but I don't know how to tell you.
And that's where we look at that spectrum, because on that, spectrum, meaning that long way, you have some that are extremely smart. You have some that really can't function. But you're right. Having the term, the name, the label autism does not tell you exactly what their intellectual function is. And at first, a lot of people think, oh, yeah, you're autistic, so intellectually you're delayed. Not necessarily. It depends on where you are on that spectrum, because some people do have some intellectual, they're not functioning well, but others are very smart. They function extremely well and go very far in life. They might not read any social cues, but their intellect is there. What were some of your challenges, Nikki?
Honestly, the same thing. Because Carly, she didn't go to daycare. She stayed home. So it was just me, her, and her dad. No outside kids, no outside people.
Mm.
So
Now let me ask you. I'm gonna interrupt and ask you. Did she stay home because you guys were kind of nervous about sending her out because she had that label, or did you just keep her at home because some parents do?
I was.
well, before we even found out she was autistic, she was already at home because I was on FMLA. So she's never been to daycare. So when she entered school, public school, that was my fear as well.
Was that really scary? Because she hadn't been out with kids, and you already said, "What if people are going to tease her? What if this?" But as you see, and this is a good thing for parents out there, you want to try to hold them in and protect them, but pushing the baby bird out of the nest can be a good thing because she needed to engage with people her age. We see you, ma'am. She needed to engage with people her age. And her language skills, like you said, got better. And then when baby brother came, it's like, oh no, he's not gonna out talk me. I gotta be the big sister here. So it really does help. So going back to your organization, what are some things you want to do? Maybe there are even people out there who want to help you, or maybe there are other parents of autistic children who are like, how can I get in touch with you? I don't know what to do. What do you offer parents and families?
Um, to be honest with you, I'm learning as I'm starting as well. So the first thing I want to offer is to let them know there's someone who can relate to them. There's someone who understands what's going on. So that's the first thing I want to offer and let them know. I'm slowly learning more resources. So I want to let them know there's resources out there, like when it comes to speech therapy or when it comes to daycare or when it just comes to needing someone to understand you as well. I want to also do more things like with children, like have little functions with children so they can bring their children out to be around other children as well. Because a lot of people don't like their children being around lots of children. So children that's on the spectrum who understands them, I think that'll be a safe place as well for people. So I want to do something like that as well.
And those are things that are good things. There is a theme park, so to speak, for kids on the spectrum. It's somewhere in the Dallas area. Do you know anything about that?
My manager was telling me about that. She was supposed to text it to me. She said that the other day about a theme park. That's funny, but I don't know the name of it, but I've heard about
I can't think. One of the things I will tell our audience that kids on the spectrum, they have issues being overstimulated. They can't take too much, stimulation. If you got too many bells and whistles going, they can't do it. And it just can send some kids in a tailspin. How does she handle it if you got just too much going on? How does she handle overstimulation? Just too much stuff going on? Or does it bother her?
Is it our
Can
phone?
yeah. No, can you hear me? Oh no, did we lose you? They've had so many
Because ours is
technical
on.
issues.
Well,
You can't hear me? Oh no.
oh,
Oh
go down
no.
and go.
Oh, now you're frozen. Are you back?
Junior, did
I
you go?
know before this they
Get up, let
were
me see.
went from one device to you still can't. What happened?
He didn't come out
Who's that?
He smells. What you say? Should I leave and come back in?
Are you there?
I don't know because it's live. I'm not sure. What do you think?
Oh, that's it.
There it is.
What happened? I heard you say there it is. Is it back?
Ours was gone, but it shows that on your it shows it was roaming.
Real? No, I've been here and I kept saying, "Are you here?
Wow.
What's up?" So now I had to remember. What was
Right.
I asking you? I was telling the audience that sometimes kids are people on the spectrum, not just children, adults too. They have issues with too much going on, like too many bright lights and the stimulation. Does that impact Carly?
Yes.
It used to a lot. She used to the sound of school buses. Oh my goodness, she did not like. She was the sound of school buses. She did not like. Also, if we watch a TV show and like they have a theme song, that
Hmm.
loud music, she did not like that loud music. She didn't like ceiling fans. I think those are the only ones I can remember. But
Hmm.
she still don't like the sound of school buses. She still don't like that sound. She also don't like the automatic toilets that flush on their own.
Hmm.
She will not use the restroom. She will hold it till she get home. So those are some things. Those are some things I think we see as normal, but in her head it may be huge. So I think those are a few things that some of the sensories that Carly doesn't like.
And I think that's important to point out, like you say, things that we'll say, oh, that's just a normal thing. But it, for us, we can adjust to it. For someone who's on the spectrum, toilets don't, some toilets flush on their own and some don't. So
Hmm.
every time there is one that doesn't just flush on, that does flush on its own, it's out of the ordinary, and that is way too much. And it's
Yes.
difficult to, especially at that age as she gets older, to understand that sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. So that sometimes that it does happen, when it does, oh no, we're not doing this. I
Hmm.
don't get it. It's a surprise every time. And it's a surprise every time because it doesn't always happen. So every time it's like new, and it's like, whoa, I don't like it. So it would make sense to you, since I don't know when that's going to happen, we just going
Uh-huh.
home. Okay, I'm not going to do that. So it makes sense. It makes total sense. It just, I can't do this. I'm not playing with that. Um, what are some other things that you think are unique to her that are related to autism? And her autism. And let me say this: sometimes, and I've worked with children, teens, and adults who are on the spectrum.
Hmm.
And one of the things I see is that sometimes the label becomes a crutch. And I've seen some teens who live up to the label, and it can become limiting.
Yeah.
Do you see how that could happen? Do you see how that might happen?
But the label being a crutch.
Yeah, the label, it's just like, how do you think that could play out? I don't think you guys are, sounds like you're not going there, but do you see how someone could do that?
Yeah. And a lot of the times it could be the parents. Like the child could want to do more or don't even know they have the capability to do more because the parent could be a crutch and holding them back.
Yeah, and sometimes,
A lot
and
of ways.
anyone with the label, and
Yeah.
in the mental health field in general, there, and let me do say this: autism is not a mental health issue. It is a neurological disorder. It is
Yes.
either, and that's why people on the spectrum are considered neurodivergent, meaning their neurological pathways are different. They are diverse and different from what is the norm. So that's where neurodivergent comes, but it is not a mental health issue.
Right.
However, here at Black Mental Health is Black Health, we look at all aspects of life that impact our mental health. And what are people, and in the news this week they've talked a lot about autism and how one in three, 1 in 30 children, I'm sorry, three,
There-
1 in 30 children are diagnosed with autism in 2020. And it was in 2020 three was the last, it's not every year that they did the statistics, and it's up. One of the reasons we're seeing more children diagnosed with autism, we're looking for it, we're understanding. So people were autistic long before we knew what it was.
Yeah.
And the definition, when you look at the spectrum, those who are on the higher functioning end were just looked at as a little different, a little weird. They're real smart, but
Real-
they don't like people. They just
Yeah.
kind of weird. And we be honest, people just say they just kind of weird. They don't like people, but they're real good. And we have now come to understand that those are the people that are somewhere on the spectrum. And labeling has its good points. We talked about the negative side would be that people live up to the label. The positive side is now you can function and understand a little better. I don't know. What do you think about those numbers and everything? What do you guys think?
That's exactly what I was saying. I think that in recent years, the education and the knowledge on what autism actually even is, and even the different phases of it is beyond what it used to. Back years and years ago, they just diagnosed them as slow or whatever, and put them in the classroom all in one group without nobody really had specific you know uh, uh, education or classes or resources. Really, they just kind of put them all in one class and just put them on, like you said, and labeled them, and that was pretty much it. And now, I think people just becoming more aware of it, and I think it's because it is people like you said that are really good at what they do, and people they do realize like something is different with them, like something is, and people they finding out, and you go home and you might look up why is such and such like this, or what causes a person to do this. When I look at them, why they want to look at me and stuff like that, and then you be like, you kind of self-diagnose. A lot of people, I'm sure, like I think he autistic, but that kind of raised awareness, even if they wrong. Just the fact that they put it makes people go back and research, and they looked at a lot different now. Like a lot of people didn't know Albert Einstein was autistic. Was actually an autistic person. When I was telling people, because that was my thing back in the day.
So you got baby Einstein on your lap.
Yeah, all right. Einstein had autism, but I was blowing people's minds, so that's why I was riding on it. But I think the growth of the awareness is really helped.
Okay.
And with Einstein, it's in retrospect, looking back on how he functioned, they're saying he, would have been he would be on the spectrum. And so, like you say, baby Einstein sitting on your lap over there. But I mean, and I think that's a good way. I can remember years ago, you had movies and they characterized kids with autism as just, those who were rocking back and forth and who were drooling. And that is the other end of the spectrum. That is real. That is just not the only way somebody would look who has autism. It's broad, and it is grown. And like you say, for your baby girl, she's in school and doing well. She's developing language, and she seems like hers is going to get better and better as a 2-year-old speaks more. You're not going to out talk her, please. And that's an encouragement. And to those of you out there, like something you said, Trai, was that you'd have that person at work that people are just, what's wrong with them? Even listening to hear that comment that you said, it can make others be a little more sensitive to them, thinking, oh, well, you know what? Maybe they're really, they're not just weird. They're not just this. Maybe it might not be autism, but maybe it can open your ideas to have more sympathy, more understanding for this person.
Yeah.
And so I think that's even bringing awareness to autism. Can we have more understanding and sympathy for people who are different from us? Everybody is not going to be the same. As we as this 30 minutes gets quicker and quicker to an end, how can people find out about your organization if they want to just support you, or maybe it's a parent out there whose child is autistic and they've been recently diagnosed and they're just like, oh, you're speaking my language, help. How can they find you?
I recently made a face. Can you pull up my Facebook page? I recently made a Facebook page for As I Am. I'm working on a website that should be done by Saturday, so I can also send that information out to you so we can put it underneath this link when we put it online. But right now, I just have a Facebook page.
And how did they find you on Facebook?
It's called As I Am.
Awesome. Hold it a little longer. People might want to see it. As I Am. And that's something, if you feel like you want to know more about autism, know more about this organization, support these young people who are like, you know what? It started out as, this is not good. So we're all good and we're going to help you be good. So I really commend you for taking that stance. So would you have a final word you'd like to say to the audience? Either of you?
I can.
Oh, I mean, I do. Go ahead.
Both of y'all. Go on, Nikki. You can go first.
I just want to leave it with my motto and let everyone know that autism is not a disability. Autism is a different ability, and there's nothing wrong with accepting. It's nothing wrong with accepting that your child is on the spectrum. they can still live a normal life.
I like that. Trai, your final word.
I would say to any parents with newly diagnosed kids or are going through the stage of actually trying to find out. I would say don't let it be. It's hard to say don't let it be overburdened, but don't look at it as something is wrong with the kid. Try stay positive and let's just let's stop labeling the kids. I try to parent Carly as normal and regular as I can because I don't want her to put it in her head, and throughout life find that as an excuse. Like a lot of people actually do. A lot of people, oh, I've been having dyslexia, so ain't no need of me to not learn this, this stuff like that. I don't. So let's just keep building them up, and let them know there's nothing wrong with them.
Awesome. Well, we end each show with a call to action, and that is something to do as a result of hearing this show. So, my call to action tonight to all of you listening, if you don't know what autism is, dig deeper, find out. Yes, more and more people are diagnosed because we're opening the world up to understanding and gain an understanding. Find that website, find them on Facebook as I am. Excuse me, so that you can gain more insight. We always talk at the end of the show. My last comment is always vote, vote, vote. There are those who are in high power who want to make you believe some things about autism that have not been medically proven, like it's a result of having vaccines. It's not been proven. So vote, 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 because your vote impacts every area of your life. I'm Miss B, Bronwyn, the Black Couch Therapist, and I'm here to help you become a better you. And thank you once again for opening up and talking to us, because I know you enlightened some people in finding out what is autism. So I encourage you all, find out a little more. See you guys next week.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Good night.